Hey everybody. I have a bunch of stories to tell from this week. I haven't necessarily been out any more than normal, but the semester's starting to pick up in pace and I'm actually starting to do things now. So this video is going to be broken up into segments because I just have so much to say and I'm going to try and keep things short, but no promises. So to begin with, the first thing I want to talk about is what has made this week probably my most difficult week here yet. I stopped sleeping about 2 weeks ago-ish, and I really couldn't figure out why. Problem number one, like if you have something like that happen, usually you isolate what the problem is. Usually, something changed, like you started eating a new food or something. My problem being everything changed, so I can't really isolate what the problem was. So I've been trying different things to try and get me to sleep. Last night I finally got some sleep. And then on top of not sleeping, I've actually been having nightmares, which started just this week, and that has made the not sleeping problem even worse. For example, yesterday I had to make myself 2 cups of coffee to even make it outside of my room. But that is getting a little bit better. I'm starting to figure out what the deal with that is. And then something else I noticed is that when I'm not having nightmares, so last week, I noticed that I've actually been dreaming in Japanese, and it just occurred to me about the beginning of this week that my dreams were in Japanese. It was kind of weird to not notice and then to notice. It's just weird. But I think it's because I intake so much Japanese every day that when I lay down to go to sleep, I just have like Japanese phrases bouncing around in my head and like different things I've heard throughout the day. Usually I have no clue what is being said, but I constantly have Japanese bouncing around in my head, so I figured that's just carrying over into my dreams. No, I don't know what's going on in my dreams. Like, I can't understand anyone in my dreams better than I can understand anyone in the real world. But yeah, that sums up my sleeping situation. So next I'm going to talk a little bit about how academics have been going for me. I only have one class per week, which doesn't sound right. Like, I have like 6 classes, and those 6 classes I have like once per week, for example. But like my Japanese classes have been wow. Like, I write so incredibly much, like pages and pages of Japanese, which is really cool for me to see. But man, is it a brain buster. Yesterday in Japanese, we were learning numbers. So like we were practicing telephone numbers and we were like trading telephone numbers with other people in Japanese, which wasn't so bad. And then she went and put math on the board and we started doing math in Japanese and I was done. Like I can't do math in English and they wanted me to do math in Japanese. I was like, sorry. I mean, it was real simple math. It was just like adding and subtracting, but like the pace that we move at, like maybe if I had taken my time it would have been easier, but like we fly in that class. We have a quiz nearly every day and I have that class 4 times a week. I have gotten back 3 quizzes already, and I'm taking another one I think tomorrow. We learned hiragana over the course of like 2 days. It's really incredible. Like, you hear stereotypes in America about like Japanese academics. Man, I mean, unless this is just like a really intensive course, but we fly. One weird thing that I have found that I want to point out is I don't know if it's particular to this university or not, but we have makeup classes. For example, my Japanese culture class, she has already canceled 2 classes because she's going on an international conference, and the makeup days are Saturdays. We were all like, excuse me? So like my homestay friends, they have they have to come up to school on a Saturday for one course. Are you serious? They pay money to take the buses to come up here. That's really not fair to them. And on top of that, she even said, like, we're basically not going to do anything on those days anyway, so if you're not going to be there, just let me know. And we were all a little, like, confused. Like, we don't know quite how to take this. We don't want to be disrespectful, but also we have no clue what's going on. Like, why? I don't know. So there's that. Another thing that is different for me, very extremely different for me, is that I find myself spending hours on campus doing absolutely nothing, which is nice, but weird. Like, it throws off the school routine that I'm very used to. So classes here are in 5 periods. There's a 9 to 10:30, there's a 10:45 to like noon-ish, and then we take a break, and then the next class is at 1:10. And like it just goes on like that. It's like every hour and a half except for lunch. So like one of my friends has class first and second, and then lunch, and then she doesn't have class again till 5th, which starts at like 4:30. So we all just hang out in the caf or out on the back deck like watching YouTube or something, because we don't have that much homework, so we do our homework and have nothing left to do. And that's something we're all really not used to. We literally just have time to sit and do nothing, and it's weird for all of us, I guess. Like, it's just weird. The last thing I want to talk about is my perspective, like what I thought was going to happen coming over here. So I picked out like what I thought I was going to take before I came, and then I got here and like confirmed my schedule and whatnot, and like by the names of the classes, you know how you judge like, okay, I'm probably going to like this class, I'm probably not going to like this class. Well, I had this idea in my head that I was going to be like so in love with calligraphy, and it's going to be so awesome, and I'm going to learn this really cool traditional art. And as it turns out, that's probably the class I hate the most. It's not because I don't like calligraphy, don't get me wrong. I love calligraphy. It's a beautiful art, but really it's because of my professor, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm having this problem where I've paid extra money to sit in this class, to be in this class, and I sit and I listen to an hour and 15 minutes of Japanese that I don't understand, and she makes no effort to get her meaning across at all. I have no clue what's going on. I want to sit there and write some of the kanji that I know, but I would feel disrespectful if I was doing calligraphy while she was talking. But there's no point in listening to her talk either, because I have no clue. So like I'm having this conflict, and the other day I gathered that she was not going to be here for a class, and we were trying to decide what like makeup time would be good. So she passed around a sheet and had us all mark like when we were open, and then at the end of class she started talking about when she wanted to do it, and we had class, she went over and we had class the next period, and we just kind of had to leave. And one of our friends who does happen to speak a little bit of Japanese told us the next day that she had decided this morning first period was going to be our makeup class, but we couldn't even make it because we had class, like another class this morning first period. And even if she had said that, I still wouldn't have had any clue what was going on. So like when we do get to like write with calligraphy, I have fun. Like I made some really cool stuff this week, but like we get like the last 15 minutes maybe to do anything, and like I paid extra money for this course. Like I wanted to be able to write, and I wanted to be able to have like instruction of like any kind to tell me if I'm doing something right or wrong, but like I have no idea. So that's my rant about that. And then on the flip side, the course I thought was going to be you know, I'll tolerate this course because I'm learning some stuff, which is my Japanese linguistics course, because, you know, it sounds boring. I love that class. that is the coolest class. Except for Tepe Sensei's Japanese course, because he's so much fun. But yeah, Japanese linguistics is probably my favorite class. I end up staying after with the professor every class, which and we talk about grammar because we're both grammar nerds. He's really cool. He's from France, so he speaks French, English, and Japanese fluently. He's actually, I think, a science major, and then he ended up, like, after he got his degree, he ended up getting like another degree in linguistics because he found that he loved language. So that's that. So that's pretty much what's been going on with me academically. I'm probably going to be really good at hiragana and katakana when I leave here. Hopefully I'll be a bit better with the language too. Like, I'm picking up little bits here and there. Like, I hear Japanese all the time, and I'm starting to understand, and my Japanese professors, like, they don't teach the class in English, so, like, I'm starting to learn the Japanese because I need to know what's going on. I learned the Japanese word for quiz, and I learned the word for homework, which are both very important, but they try and get their meaning across, so, like, even if I don't understand the Japanese, they still tell me what's going on, which is nice. So yeah, that's my bit about academics for this past week. To tell you guys a little bit about, like, the random stuff that's happened this week, that kind of doesn't fit into, like, a category of its own, I guess. I wanted to fill you in a little bit about all the random things I have sitting here around me that you can't see. So let's hop in. So I decided I wanted to try my hand a little bit more frequently with origami. So I went to the Daiso, which is a 100 yen store, and purchased some actual origami paper in varying colors of sorts. And I'm going to be doing some origami because, as I said, I have so much time. I have so much free time now that I need something to occupy my time because I'm going insane. I'll show you this too. So the first day of Japanese, she had us all made name tags, which I thought was kind of cool. So this is katakana, which is the alphabet they use for foreign words. So this character is she. This is the character for ya, and this is small, this is big, which when put together, the big character and the small character, you can think of it kind of like a slur, like the sound slur. So she and ya become sha, so like sha. Ro, so Sharon, more or less. And then I just put san on there because I did it like badly sized and I had all this open space and it bothered me. So I made a name tag for Japanese class. I bought a huge box. Well, if you saw how many sticks were in here, you would understand that it's huge. But this is a box of lavender scented incense, because I was told that lavender might help me sleep. It did not help me sleep, but it does smell nice. So I have incense sticks kind of sitting around my room, so my room smells good now. And it's actually really strong compared to a lot of the stuff I've smelled in the US. The incense they have here, it actually smells good and strong, and I love it. This I really want to share with you. Like, I could have saved it for like if I do a food update video, but like this is like one of the best drinks I have ever had in my entire life. It's chocolate milk or like cocoa. It's cold. This is a cold drink. Miroke Cocoa. And it's not Van Houten brand. I don't know what brand this is. But it is so good. Like, it's such a thick chocolate and it's so good. I just couldn't help myself. I had to share that with you. I also wanted to share with you kind of what the packaging situation is in Japan. So this is a bag package, whatever, of like cleaning wipes, like Clorox type deal that I got to clean up a bit with. So I opened it up And like it didn't have like the pull thing like the US would have, so I was like, okay, I don't want to open the whole thing, they'll all dry out on me. And then I thought about it and I was like, the Japanese package within packages. And I open it, and indeed there are 2 smaller packages. This also doesn't have like a pull thing on it, so I'm still kind of confused. That maybe there honestly might be another package inside this. I really don't know. Japanese packaging is Russian nesting dolls. And it's the exact same with this box of crackers. There's like 8 crackers in this thing, and there are like a ton of these in here because they probably don't eat crackers, so if they open it up and it was a sleeve like in the US, like they would all be stale. So they're in mini packages in the box, which is actually kind of nice, so I could snack on them and not have to worry about the crackers going stale. The last thing I actually want to show you is, oh dear, this little guy here. So someone threw a box down in the lobby and it said something in Japanese, something in Korean, and then free take in English. So I assumed they were trying to get rid of things. As far as I understand, this is a little cooker thingy. I haven't cleaned it up yet. That has like the wire. And then this top bit pops off, and then inside there's like a metal bowl, and it's like a burner on the inside, and it's just got a switch and whatnot. So it's like this really simple cooker type thing. But I figure I can go get rice at like Seiyu and like make rice or whatever. I can make myself a bento box if I want, I guess. So I grabbed it because why not? And I'll probably put it in a free box when I leave here because I'm not particularly interested in keeping it or having the room for it either. But if I really like it, I might find a way to take it home. It's cute, and it's little, and it was free, and why the heck not? If it works, why not? Because it's probably just gonna get thrown away anyway. And then, that's what I wanted to show you, and then I did want to tell you a few things that I have discovered, generally discovered this past week or so. I really miss showers, like actual showers. So the Japanese bathrooms, they don't really have a shower the way we're used to. So they're styled after a traditional hot bath, which is you sit in this room and you like take a shower with like a handheld thing and soap and whatnot, and you like bathe yourself and then you soak. So my bathroom here is modeled after that. Like there's a drain in the floor in the little room that is called a bathroom. So you're supposed to like wash yourself off and then like fill the tub up and soak in the tub. I don't mind it, but I kind of just miss like a high pressure like shower that I can stand in and close a curtain and like shower. So I will enjoy that when I get back, but I'm not really complaining about this bathroom either here. They're just different, and I don't mind the difference. I wouldn't mind a shower either. Another thing is the end of last week, I went to what was the Nagoya Cultural Association event, and I really wasn't told what this was. Basically, it was, hey Jason students, we're looking for 10 of you to come to this thing. It's free and we'll pay for your taxi, and you'll get food. So I was like, okay. So I went, and true to their word, they taxied us there and taxied us back. The actual event, I really didn't know what it was, so I was winging it. So I got there, and they ushered us in and gave us name tags, and we sat down, and then imagine a town hall meeting in Japanese. That's what it seemed like to me. It was just, it was really a meeting. So I sat through this meeting, and I'll be honest, I daydreamed through most of it. Because one, I was tired, it was late, like we left at 6 o'clock and we were expected to be back by like 9. So I was half dozing, half daydreaming-ish through it, because I couldn't understand it anyway. And then after that, we all got up and we all put the chairs away, and then they pulled out tables and they pulled out a feast. I don't know where they pulled that feast from, but there was like 9 tables of food, none of which I knew what it was. So I went over and I kind of like picked a few things here and there that looked okay. Some of it was okay. Some of it was I wasn't gonna finish it, and some of it was not what I thought it was gonna be. So one thing was like, it was like in a cupcake like wrapper thing, and it was plastic wrapped, like they were all individually wrapped. So I grabbed one, thinking it would be a cupcake, or I don't know, anything like a cupcake. The only similarity was that it was sweet. So I got it, I unwrapped it, and I looked at it, and I was like, what? I touched it, it was like gelatin, but more solid. Like weak rubber almost. And it was like coated in like a powdery sugar, not confectioner sugar, no. It was like just sugar, I don't know, powdery sugar that was definitely not confectioner sugar. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. So I bit it, and it kind of tasted a little bit like rubber, sweet rubber, but rubber. And I chewed it. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. So I bit more off, like I didn't just nibble, I actually bit into it. And as it turns out, there's a strawberry in the center, and I was like, what? So that was pretty good. I did finish that. Some of the food was whatever. I didn't eat too much that night. But while we were eating, it was supposed to be like a social interaction hour. Like we were supposed to interact with like the Japanese people that were there, and I don't know, just socialize, which is usually not my scene anyway. So I kind of stood off and on the side, and a few people came by and asked me who I was, and proceeded to look at my name tag before I could answer. Asked me where I was from, proceeded to look at my name tag because it had an American flag on it. But these two, well, one lady came over, a slightly older lady. She was really cool. She was like really trying to talk to me. I mean, their English wasn't great, and my Japanese is definitely not great. But she actually came over and like really tried to have a conversation with me. She asked where I was from, and she asked me like all this stuff, and it was just like really sweet stuff. And she threw probably the most challenging question I've had yet this entire trip. She asks me, what's North Carolina famous for? And I was like, what? So I was like, what is North Carolina famous for? I'm like, are we famous for anything? And I was like, not much. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, I know what North Carolina is famous for. So like I interrupted our later conversation to tell her. I was like, we had the first airplane, and we had like a great laugh over it. And she wanted to know like where I was from, and we were talking about our dogs because she's got a little dog, and I was like, I've got big dogs, and I had a really good time with this lady. And then I guess a friend of hers or someone she knew came over, and she was like, Samui, and I was like, yeah, Samui, Hatsui. And we all laughed because that was basically the most Japanese I spoke all night. And she was just saying, like, it's really cold in here. And I was like, you're crazy. It's hot in here. And it was hot. And then the second lady hung out with us, and she asked me, like, what my major was, and trying to help someone understand what environmental major is in Japanese was very difficult. I was like, gakusei. Uchi no gakusei? Like, literally outside science? Which didn't quite get across, but, like, I tried. But, like, they were really kind, and, we had a really good time. Like, I was really nervous because people kept trying to talk to me, and I was very bad at talking back. But these two, like, they made my night worth it. And then at the end, they hugged me and they wanted to take pictures with me, and I was just like, aww. So I was really glad I went by the end. And then I went home and passed out because I was exhausted. And then, yeah, that pretty much sums up that event. So the last thing I want to tell you about is something like travel-wise. So I've been quite a few places now, and I don't plan on stopping. But like I've noticed that every time I go somewhere, I learn like something new about what I don't need, if that makes any sense. So like the first time I went somewhere, like I went to Italy, and I packed my suitcase and it was like busting at the seams, and like I was there for 2 weeks. And then like I went to Puerto Rico, and then I had learned like, okay, I don't actually need like this set of things, so I didn't pack those, so I packed a little bit less. And then like if I was able to talk to myself when I went to Italy and told myself that I would be going abroad with probably about the same amount of stuff as I went to Italy with for 2 weeks, I'd probably think I was insane. I guess when you practice, like when you actually just go places, you start to learn what's not really necessary in your life. Like, I've been living here now for a bit, and like some of the stuff I brought's like, why did I bring this? So every time I go somewhere, I'm like taking less and less. Like, even though I came here for a longer time, I brought so much less. But also there's always, I wish I had brought. So in this case, I wish I had brought like a few more t-shirts. So I'm thinking about maybe trying to find like a thrift store or like a non-mall store where I can just go get a few t-shirts and maybe keep one or two at the end and throw the rest away, or give the rest away, or something like that. So I don't need it, but like I don't care so much about wearing the same t-shirts, but I also do care, I guess, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it yet, but I think it's kind of interesting that like the more you move around, the more you learn like what is actually necessary to your life. So I like to bring things with me, and as you can see behind me, like I would love to put things on the walls. Like that's one thing I do like, even though I move a lot, I like to put things up that remind me of like who I am and where I come from, and like me, and make it look like I live there. That's just kind of what I do. And like we're not really allowed to put things on the walls here, so I feel like I live in a cell a little bit. So like I have stuff laid out on my desk to remind me who I am and where I'm from, and the people I love and things like that. But yeah, that about sums up this week for me. I'm hoping that I will start sleeping again soon, and I really honestly hope that I'm not like yelling in my sleep, because it is something that I've been known to do, and the Japanese walls are not thick enough for that. So I'm probably gonna go apologize to Sam, who lives on that side, and just like apologize just in case. But yeah, I figure if I sleep, I'll start having a much better time. Like, and no matter how like terrible calligraphy is, like I'll be okay because I slept. Right now it's difficult because I'm running on lack of sleep, and like people annoy me a lot faster when I haven't slept. So I'm dealing with that. But all is okay. I'm gonna be okay. And I'm really enjoying my time in Japan, and I don't plan for that to stop anytime soon. I still got a bit ahead of me, and I plan to enjoy every bit of it. I got Golden Week coming up, which is like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday without classes, so like a lot of people travel. I might see if I can go somewhere else on Kyushu. Maybe I'll head up to Osaka. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I've been barely making it through the day at this point. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm going. That's where I've been. And I'm gonna keep moving forward. Catch y'all later.